Let's get started. On day 1, you'll need a jar or something similar. You want it to be glass. Set it on the scale and find out how many grams it is and write the number right on the glass with a permanent marker. Clear the scale with the jar still on the scale and add in 100 grams of flour. I'd recommend starting with whole wheat flour, but I ended up using white this time. Next, add in 100 grams of filtered water. I use tap water filtered by my Berkey. Mix it with a wooden spoon until well incorporated. Cover your jar loosely with a lid or even a parchment paper and an elastic. I always mark my jar with a permanent marker or an elastic to see if it has doubled in size the next day. Let that sit in a warm spot overnight. In the summer, my house is pretty warm, so the counter does the trick, but in the winter, I put it on top or beside a floor vent and cover it with a towel. On day 2, so 24 hours later, take a peek and check if there are any bubbles forming in there. If there aren't, it might need a warmer location. On day 3, if there is a good amount of bubbles forming, then that means the starter is hungry and it's time to feed her. Take a second jar and scoop all but 75 grams of your starter into it. You've just started your discard jar. To your 75 grams of starter, you now add 120 grams of flour and 120 grams of water. You can keep using whole wheat flour, or you can switch to or mix and match with unbleached white. I personally like to go back and forth between the two. Now mix it all together and put it back in a cozy location. Again, you're going to want to mark where the starter began so that next time you can see if it's risen. On days 4 through 7, repeat the process from day 3. Once your starter starts doubling in size each day, then she's ready to use. Mine only took till day 5 for it to double in size. I decided to quickly check to make sure my sourdough starter would make a loaf of bread. I'll go into detail how I make a loaf of bread in a following post. I'd say the starter turned out pretty nicely.